Good evening, everyone. It is so nice to see all of you, and thanks a lot, Rajiv, for being there.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
and We do these webinars every Sunday, and the whole idea is to have a conversation with our audiences, usually who are teenagers, parents of teenagers, working professionals. And the whole idea is to have someone talk on a certain career stream and an option that they had. And so I have known you for quite a while now, and I remember seeing you in a theater act with Darius. Is it Darius or Darius?
Darius. If you call him
Darius.
Darius, he won't serve you beer at his place.
So I remember there was this amazing play you both had done, and I saw you. I think this was way back in 2000s, maybe
Yeah, yeah,
early
yeah, yeah,
2000s.
yeah. Yeah.
And then I saw you in Three Idiots, then English, and then I got connected to you because of our common friend Mustafa.
Right.
And now you are one of our partners at School of Meaningful Experiences who helped us create this brand. So you have an interesting career trajectory today as an ad professional, but then in the past as an actor and a personality from theater. So I wanted to ask you that how did you land up in movies and your career in movies? And the whole idea of today's conversation is for you to enlighten us that is there a career in movies for the teenagers and youngsters out there who are listening to us?
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, thank you. Always glad to have a chat with you. And this is a strange experience. I don't know who else is out there. I'm just going to assume we're in an auditorium and there are 5,000 people cheering, and I'm going to say, "Quiet, quiet. Let me talk. Let us talk." So let's just make ourselves feel really good. But thank you, whoever's out there. I'm thankful you're here to spend your Sunday evening with us. Let me see if I can make it worth your while. Yeah, so I'm Rajeev Ravindranathan. I am in my acting career is what you might call a series of perfect accidents, because I've never really trained to be an actor. It's just something I've always been interested in doing. I've irritated people throughout my life, my parents, my friends, my close family, with my histrionics. And at certain points in time, I found outlets for it in the form of theater, in the form of acting in advertisements, in the form of movies. So yeah, I've been asked, is it a lot of luck? But no, I mean, I think luck comes if you construct a sort of a you need receptors to receive luck. Luck doesn't just arrive on your lap. You have to work really hard at creating the set of I can't nets that grabs onto the good luck that's floating around, and anybody can get it. So if you've got the net, you can grab onto it. So that's how I've looked at my acting career, and I've never really looked back because I've always grabbed onto every little thing. And having never been in a formal acting, been through a formal acting pedagogy, I've learned stuff from all the experiences I've been through, and that's pretty much how I'd like to just take this chat forward, Rakesh. I mean, it's not so much. I don't have yarn to give.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I have stories to tell, and a lot of those stories. I mean, all of those stories I've gathered through my, through the little acting gigs I've done. So, yeah, I mean, how do you want to do this? Shall I start talking? I'm perfectly fine. Constantly being asked questions. It's whatever makes everybody comfortable. How many people out there? I mean, 5,000 maybe not,
So,
but
so, so I'll check. And they keep increasing. I think our YouTube has started, and usually we have tens, and then it increases.
sure, sure.
Sometimes hundreds, sometimes more than that.
So just not me and you. There's somebody out there.
Oh yeah, yeah, there are. I mean, this platform is amazing. By the way, I
Right.
must also tell you that you are our first guinea pig for this experiment we are doing today.
Please,
And
that's pretty much what all my producers and directors have told me so far. So yeah, story of my life.
yeah, story. I mean, mine too. And I must tell you how this platform started. So we used to do Zoom calls earlier.
Right.
And the fun part of Zoom call is that somebody from somewhere would share their screen without knowing it and would
Oh,
start
yeah.
annotating and would start all kinds of stuff. So, and we had to constantly monitor and Avantika, my colleague, would be like the admin, and sometimes we threw people out also. And one of our friends, Puneet Surana, and I hope he's watching, was watching our webinars, and he's like, "You guys are doing it wrong." So he came and advised us, and then we looked at this new platform, and now we used Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So it's a brilliant technology. People do watch us, and the
Nice.
beauty is that even if they don't come live right now, this recording will be there on our
Oh,
page, School of Meaningful Experiences, so they will watch.
oh,
And I know a lot of people will send questions. So what we'll do is we'll do. I wanted to get into the first question of how did you get into acting,
sure.
and most importantly is that there are people out there who are confused that, hey, I want to do acting, but then paisa hai kya? It basically boils down to the heart of the question ki yaar, paisa hai kya? And then the industry is littered with many issues which I want you to talk about
Yes.
and guide us through this journey. And then I hope there are people who usually ask questions, so we might expect questions at about 5:30ish,
Okay.
and we'll get them to go on board. And all of you who are watching us, please fire away your questions on YouTube and Facebook channel. It will come to us, and I and my colleague will then take your questions one by one. One other request, I think your mic is rubbing against your collar, so there is
Oh,
this
that's
noise.
frustrating hearing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll
I
just
think, yeah, now
hold
it's
on
pretty
for a bit.
cool. Yes, pretty cool. So go ahead, tell us your story into acting.
Yeah, okay. So, happy accident. See, all through school, I've always been interested on getting on stage. In school, teachers are always looking for the bakra to come on stage for annual day and stuff because most kids say no. I didn't know the meaning of no. Whatever they wanted me to do, I would play a tree, I would just stand around, I would hold things for others as long as I could get on, as long as I could get on stage. So when I was in class 3, I played the father of a bride because, when you're in class 3 you have these fatherly instincts, so some teacher thought it wise, first of all, to have cast class 3 students in some sort of a tableau play about, what's it called, bidai, you're giving your daughter away. So
Yeah.
I have no idea what it meant. I was asked to cry at a certain time in the music, which I did, and I figured that, hey, look at this. People are actually, they think I mean this. They think I'm good at this, and someone's feeling sad. Hey, this can work. And from there, I never look back. I just forever be on stage. Throughout school, I mean, even to date, people who've been with me in school remember me as the guy who would forever be acting or dancing or singing or doing something or the other. I had no shame, which I think is an important quality as an actor. You really can't have an ego and pride about yourself. You can't construct a persona because your job is to, what is the word? Impersonate. So you really can't have a choice about that matter. It depends. Maybe your physique doesn't allow you to be certain things, or maybe your voice, your face, and so on and so forth. But physicality usually never stops an actor. You're ready to do anything. My first acting gig, I have to imagine, was in the theater in Bangalore. I college done, more acting gigs, more writing, directing, and then I come into the big bad world of jobs. I had to get a job in advertising. Nobody hires me. It's the first recession, and I land up in Hong Kong Bank, and my brain is atrophying. It's just numbers and accounts. My roll number is 34. Roll number 33 was really good in accounts, and it's the only reason I passed. I'm not saying anything. You can draw it insinuations what that means. So 3 years I passed my accounts papers because of the guy in front of me. But and then I land up in a job that's hardcore accounting, and I was going mad. I needed an outlet. I realized I was missing acting. I was missing stage. I was missing audiences. So I joined the Bangalore Little Theatre in Bangalore. Auditioned, got a small part. Then I stuck around, got a few more parts, and I just, that's the thing about the stage. The whole live creation on the spot. It's a heady cocktail. Once you've experienced it, it's very difficult to top that kind of high because you're creating in the moment. There is no plan B. Plan B itself is plan A because you don't stop and restart. And on a movie set, it's cut, do it again. You always have second, third, fourth, sometimes 15, 16 chances. On a stage, you just move on. You absorb the mistake, you absorb the shortcoming, and you make it part of the performance and move on. And being able to constantly create new things as per plan, and then something new becoming part of the plan. It's inexplicable. So I was hooked to the theater, and from the theater you tend to be in a circle of actors or producers or people who write, people who direct. And Bangalore's a stepping stone. Everybody moves to Bombay eventually, and then the calls come, hey, are you interested in doing this, are you interested in doing that? So the people in Bombay give you a way into a movie or a way into an ad. I was always interested in advertising, and very early on I started write myself into the scripts for my clients. I would describe this person who very eerily resembled me. So I would shoot I would shoot scratch films of a script featuring me, and pretty much render a client weak in the knees, and he couldn't see the part played by anybody else. So I built an acting reel through that very subversive evil process. I was glad I was able to. Advertising lets you do that. If you, again, it's always about grabbing the opportunity. The opportunity exists. If I didn't, somebody else would have grabbed it, and that's where the notion of luck is often misconstrued. Luck is for everybody, but it's finite, and if you don't grab onto it, it won't come to you. It'll find somebody else. What's the author's name? Elizabeth Gilbert. Am I getting the name right? A person who wrote Eat, Love, Eat,
Yeah,
Pray, Love.
Elizabeth. Yeah, Gilbert.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, she speaks about the idea as a sentient being. It's a thing that's floating around, looking for someone to attach itself to. But that someone has to be receptive. And if you're not, it'll go to the person next to you. And she believes that's how the idea is. But if you're not inquisitive, if you're not if you're not wide-eyed, if you're not wondrous about the world, and you're always not searching, you're not curious, the idea is just, hey, this is a boring guy, I'll find the next person. So that's been my yardstick for whatever I do, whether advertising, acting. I'm always a student. I'm always open. I'm always receiving stimuli from around me. Even at my work, it frustrates some of my clients. It's always fluid, because at any point in time I'll change something. On a set I'll change something. We've been filming actually right now an ad film for ID Fresh and for Mustafa is filming right now in Bombay. It's been an interesting experience. We started with some script, it became something else on the set. The actors bringing his own energy to it. You have to receive. These are all gifts. You can't think of it as, oh shit, it's not going to plan. It pretty much, the plan is that it won't go to plan, and how you deal with those little changes sort of impacts the end result. So that's something I've used throughout my acting career. I'd just like to quickly share my screen with you, because I've put down a bunch of things that is this visible? No, it's not visible. Obviously, I need to click
Yeah.
share screen.
Yes.
Yeah, share screen application. Yeah, is this visible?
Yep. Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to
Lovely.
present a view. Readable,
Very.
right?
Yeah. Very viewable. Very corporate. I like your slides and cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm a font Nazi. That's what they call me. So anyway, this is the things that they won't teach you in acting school, which I can't vouch for because I've never been to one. So let's just assume they don't teach such things in acting school. Maybe they don't have time for such stuff. So let me get to something very dear to me. Is this working? Yeah.
Yeah. I saw you in all kinds of expressions.
Yeah. So I'm putting this up here as one of the most influential plays on me as an actor. It shaped everything that I decided to be, decided to do. For me, my acting career is before and after Filth. Before Filth, I was, enamored by the stage, enamored by the audience. But post Filth, I understood the power of writing, of the writers, of the actor's responsibility to translate writing into a character, and how it's a responsibility, and it's not just a privilege. So this particular play the book is written by Irvin Welsh, adapted for the stage by Harry Gibson. And Irvin Welsh is the kind of guy who, what's the word for him? He's he pushes the edge of the edge. This was a character, a corrupt cop, misogynistic, uh, sexual deviant, violent, racist. I mean, the nastiest of nasty human beings, but uh, a very almost cliched reason for why he's that way. So I got to explore pure evil and then also give a justification in the course of a play. So this is images from the play. You can see this is from the early years where we were going for spectacle, we were going for shock because the writing at every word is absolutely insane. And I'm an untrained actor. How do you play somebody who's so deviant? So I would start imagining what it means to be this person, and I imagine this is what method acting means. Uh, and I'd work myself up into a horrible psychological
Are
Am
you
I here?
there?
Am I back? Am I back?
Yes. For
Okay.
about
Great.
15 seconds, we lost
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I had a power cut. Is my screen back on?
Yes, so we can see the photo, and the last sentence I heard was that you would imagine and uh, think about
Yeah.
what
So I,
this
I
person
I
would do.
tried to be this guy, and how am I going to be such an evil, wild person? So that sent me into this state of mind that I could never switch out of. My poor wife was the recipient of this crazy guy who'd come home and never, for 2 3 days, be an a hole. Sorry, I can't think of a better word, but really, I was a nasty human being because I didn't know what it meant to to manufacture emotions. I would try to feel the emotion and present it on stage. And this play taught me, over a couple of years. We did this for 3 years. I learned that if I continue doing this, I won't be an actor anymore. I'll be pretty much, in a mental institution, because this was no way to approach, a theater. I'll touch upon this little later in the some of the other stories I'm talking about. But here's a big lesson I learned about. Uh, this thing acting, it can be dangerous for an actor because it's so manipulative and exploitative. If you're not aware of the power you're wielding, you could easily be taken in by it. There are enough stories you hear of megalomaniac actors, people who've gone off the board, who need stimulation to constantly create. I suppose this is what happens to them over time. There's the real and the manufactured emotion tend to blend, and then that can cause serious
Mm,
issues. Uh, Three different approaches to the play, and the reason I put this here is again to show you how we matured over time. We started with the one on the left, which is, I told you, just about the weirdness of the play. The one in the middle, was when we started finding some meaning, and the third was when we said, okay, this is what it's about. There's no need to push it. The writing itself is so deep and hard and evil. Just be honest to it and portray the guy, and that's what I think our most successful version of this play. The other
mm,
reason this is up here, and there is a brand there of drinking water, is there is because, and if you look at the bottom of this poster, there's a motorbike, there's air decking, and this is my strong belief that the performing arts cannot
mm,
survive without support. Uh,
mm,
we did these at Prithvi Theatre, we did this at Alliance Francaise, charging 100 rupees a ticket. Alliance Francaise is at best 200 seats if people sit on each other's lap.
yeah.
Uh, the hall costs you 20K. How are you going to make a living from something like that? And I'm touching upon the first thing you asked me. Is there, can you make a living out of theater? Yes, if you're working every single day, because the money you make from it is meager, honestly. And so
Mm,
I would turn to sponsorships. I would turn to brands, and this is the first time ever at Alliance Francaise. We finished the play, and we served everybody a glass of cold Kingfisher beer. We did it above board. We got an excise permission for Alliance Francaise border for that evening for 2 hours. So we're very serious about giving brands their due. If someone's going to put some money down, Be nice to them too. They're supporting the arts. You get a little more pocket money for that month. And if you can
Hmm.
do this on an ongoing basis, I guess more people will choose the arts as a profession. Right now, we rely on the box, and that's not always the most reliable way, to make a buck from the performing arts. So that's the story of Filth. Acting lessons, lessons on how to sustain a career, so on. I mean, after this, I subsequently did a course with Adi Shakti, where I learned this amazing tool of the Navrasas, of 9 emotions that you manufacture with your physical self. I don't have to feel sad. I can make you think I'm feeling sad, but feeling absolutely nothing inside. And I was slapping my forehead 100 times saying, where were you guys 6 years ago when I did Filth? Because if I had these powers, these tools that you've taught me, I would have been a better human being for a few years during that play. I scared off a lot of people, and I probably caused a lot of ill health to myself. But
Hmm.
Adi Shakti. So if anyone's taking notes, please note down Adi Shakti as this amazing, amazing theater. The pedagogy is based on the fact that you can manufacture emotion, and that's the truth of an actor. You need to. It is manufacturing emotion, and but doing it in a realistic way. So the sense of getting somebody to believe in you is the triumph or the failure of the actor. But wonderful, wonderful tools. How a part of your body will can lead the rest of you. The different parts of your face that can lead a certain emotion. And I was just sitting in that workshop and just thinking, oh my God, this is amazing if I just had these tools earlier. Adi Shakti, Pondicherry, they have a long residential course. They occasionally do 3-day, 4-day courses in Bangalore. Watch out for them. Invaluable, absolutely invaluable. The Owl and the Pussycat. This is my first major comedy, a sitcom, for one of the finest sitcoms ever written. If you can find the script, read it. It's a breezy read. It's fantastic. The reason this play is on here is because I learned the importance of this adage: the show must go on. In the middle of this play, I'm supposed to cut oranges, and I'm supposed to act like I've cut my finger, and then it's just me and another a female actor. She comes over, and there's a fuss about my finger, so on and so forth. And I'm cutting the oranges, and I have this sort of premonition: I'm going to cut my finger. And on stage, I cut my finger. I cut it right down to the bone.
Ooh.
And for some reason, production said, let's give him the sharpest possible knife in Bangalore. And so I, with the very least, my fingers under the orange, and I cut and phoop, and I can, I heard the knife hitting the bone. I heard that, and then I was like, oh, and I looked at my finger, and it's a gusher. Something I've cut, and it's flowing. Blood is flowing down my hand. Yeah, the female actor on cue comes up to me, and she's supposed to just, pretend like she's putting in her mouth. She gets my hand, and then she's she's not going to put that in her mouth. No way. It's a fountain. There's blood just pouring out. She stops. And then she's seeing blood, and I know she can obviously see it very up close and personal because she sees something that makes her start crying on stage, which is frightening because the skin, the flesh is separated and there's all kinds of rubbish going on. And she starts sobbing, and the play moves from being this comedy to this very deep, dark situation involving violence. So there's no stopping the play. That's the greatness of theater. That's what I said. You absorb and you make it the new reality. Now what? What next? I buzz off stage pretending it's my bathroom. So the stage is just your living room and a kitchen. I buzz off stage pretending it's my bathroom and continue ruttling my lines at top volume because the stage is not made for performance behind the wall. So at the back, nobody can hear you. So I'm screaming. And backstage, full drama. Nobody knows why is this guy here? Why is he here? Nobody knows I've cut my finger. So it's dark there. Somebody manages to get a torch, and then they see the blood. And then there's this girl, I'll never forget her name, Ashti. I don't know. I'm sure she's not watching, but Ashti rips her dupatta and she ties this big bundle that's about this big. It stops the bleeding, thankfully. And I go back on stage and finish 45 minutes of the play with this ball on my hand. So obviously it messed with the chronology of the play because the play fast forwards a couple of weeks, but somehow miraculously I had the same bandage throughout the rest of the play. But after that, I faced so many ridiculous situations on stage because theater is a construction of so many people, right? The lighting guy, the props guy, the guy who created your furniture. I've been in plays where they give you the stage, they give you the set like 5 minutes before the play. So you don't know basic things like which way does the door open? Think about it. The character has to leave in a huff. So I'm leaving and the door's not opening that way like it should. So I walk into the door and then you have to suddenly create a comedic moment out of it and then and rub your nose and open it and go out. All kinds of nonsense happens on stage, but that's the beauty of of theater. I mean, unless you're in a professional theater troupe and you rehearse these things 100 times before you go on stage and you have the set in front of you, these things happen. So you must, like I said, accept the gift, use it as a gift, and move on. So, well, another acting lesson. On the grounds of accepting gifts and moving on, two movies that about 18 people may have watched all put together, including rerun. So the one on the left was a small production called Bas Yun Hi, which I did solely because it had Nandita Das in it, and I remember having a crush on her back then. And the one on the right, I had 15 seconds of screen time. But I was in the studio and I figured, what the hell? I did all this it took the whole day of shooting, and I realized my role is just 15 seconds when I went to dub. And then I overheard that they have the vegetable seller, they have an auto guy, they have 3, 4 other characters in the movie who they're not finding dubbing artists. And that was the birth of me as a dubbing artist. I just said, hey, let me give it a shot. I was in the studio. There's no charging money for all these things, and I voiced about 3, 4 other characters in the film. It was a joy, and I learned the power of dubbing there. I mean, such a powerful tool for an actor. You can change a performance in dubbing. You can add layers that you just did not think about when you were filming, on set. There's no time. The set is a busy place. You tend to form a plan in your head and go ahead with it, but then you miss out a lot of layers that you can add to the character, which dubbing can let you do. Just the power of the voice. And yeah, so these two films are here as examples of you have no idea what leads to what. Bas Yun Hi had assistant directors and casting guys who have given me so much work after this film. Though I played a completely nonsensical character in it, it led to a lot more work. Freaky Chakra told me, "Hey, I have a voice that I can manipulate and use, for dubbing." So I've done that several times after this. So grab whatever work comes your way. Don't judge, especially when you're starting off. At this point in time, I'm a little choosy because just not because I think of myself as a good actor, but time is limited. So I'd rather give the little time I have available to the right kind of project.
Right.
Warning, Rakesh, I can't see anything else except my presentation. So I don't know if anyone's asking any questions. I don't know if I should
Not
take
yet.
it. Yeah,
Not
okay.
yet. But I think this is a good time. So let me announce to our audiences, whoever is there out there. I can see some of my friends from Facebook and YouTube joining. So, audience, this is a good time to ask questions, and we'll keep talking with Rajiv. And once the questions come, we'll put them on the screen. Go ahead, Rajiv.
Okay, so back. This is, well, of course, the biggest story I have to tell about my acting career. I've said this a few times before. This truth that I was actually the third idiot in this film. I actually auditioned for Chatur's role, which was an amazingly funny role. I mean, I just loved that character. I read just a few lines, and Raju Irani loves improvisation, so he just said, "Try this, try that. This is what the scene is. Kuch bolo." So then his assistant directors and we just kept recording for several hours one day, and madness happened with this Chatur character. Suddenly one evening, I'm waiting to hear if I've got the part or not, and I'm waiting in Bombay, and I get a call saying Raju wants to meet you. And I head out to his office in Carve, I think. I don't remember the exact location. I head out and I walk into an office, and I thought you have to go through his people who will take you to his people who will, and finally at one point in time, somewhere on one throne, there'll be Raju Hirani. But in one small little room, Raju Hirani just pops, hey, hello, you. Please, my name is Raju Hirani. I was like, yeah, I mean, I know. I mean, so sweet of you to introduce yourself. We sat down, and he served me idlis. Idlis have, as you will know, Rakesh, very important part of my life.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, it came into my life all the way back then. So he served me idlis. And he said, listen, my name is Raju Hirani. I've written this movie called Three Idiots. I have Amir and Sharman. I'd like you to be the third idiot. And I'm just staring at him. I'm waiting, for Cyrus Brocha to jump out from behind the curtain and say Bakra or something. Some Bangalore Bakra has come and let's have fun with this bugger. Nothing happened. The casting agent sitting behind him, she's like, will you please react? This is someone's Raju Hirani is giving up. Will you say? Because I was dead fair, like, what? Like, what? And he says, yeah. I like your face. कुछ है आपके, odd face है. कुछ अच्छा है आपके face में. And your Hindi not very good. It's very South Indian. I said, yes, sir. Sorry, I can work on that. No. Be South Indian. I'll write the character South Indian. So Amir is Amir, was always Rancho. Sharman was playing the part that eventually got played by Madhavan, and I was playing the character that was written for Sharman, which Sharman eventually played, but he was going to
Okay.
rewrite it as South Indian. We tested a few times, a few hours the next day. I believe he made posters, which is his way of testing, whether his choice is right. 2 months, he says, Vidhu Vinod Chopra has to come back from LA, and that's the final go ahead. And then 2 months later, I get a call, hey, you're out of the film. And I'm like, what? I was like, what did I do? What happened? No, Vidhu Vinod Chopra said, Amir isko kha jayega. I said, Amir isko kha jayega means what? I perform in front of 300, 400, 500 people. I have no kha jayega, bha jayega. I started saying, I cut my finger on stage, or blah, 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 blah. I started. Nobody wants to hear this stuff. It's quite simple. Vidhu Vinod Chopra is the producer. He has to sell this film across India. He's like, who is this bacha? I've got one superstar. I've got Sharman, who is great in the West. I need somebody else saleable, boss. What region will he sell? And I don't know. I mean, what am I going to say? Okay, I don't want this part. I never wanted to be a third idiot. Give me Chatur. No, you know what happened? The thing is, after you got cast in this, we opened casting and we found this guy in LA. I'm like, boss, I never asked for this. Then you take away a great opportunity I might have had, given me a wonderful golden egg, and then that egg, you take it back from me and make omelette with it. And that's the end of it. And just like that, I tasted my biggest disappointment ever.
Yeah.
And I remember going to I think, I mean, I can't say call it depression, but it could have been because I started eating and I put on insane amounts of weight. And Raju Rani calls me about 3-4 months later and says, "Arey, forget about what happened here. Ek chota sa part hai. Are you interested?" It's like, am I interested? I show up on set, and the rest is history. We improv that scene. It gets written in. Raju Rani shows me a dialogue he used from my Chatur audition for Chatur right now. So one of the parts, dialogues that Chatur says is actually something I improved in my, my audition. And Raju Rani was the picture of perfect humility. What a gentleman! I mean, an amazing, amazing human being. I think he really wanted me to do the part. It didn't work
Yeah.
out. He found another way around it. And there's somebody I'm still in touch with. These are the gifts. Again, I mean, he's not a friend. I'm not going to. He's Raju Hirani. We're in
Yeah.
touch, but it doesn't mean I'm his buddy or he's my buddy. But there's the healthy respect for each other, and just being able to wish him, just being able to to give him a piece of an opinion on the work he does, and to hear
Mm.
from him what he thinks about those opinions. Those are treasures. I mean, those are the gifts I've gotten from the job. The role per se paid me a sum total after everything, after the casting agent, I think about minus 4,000 rupees, because I actually had to spend at some point to be in the film. We had to
Yeah.
fly back from Bombay a couple of times, so on and so forth. So, not dissuading any actors out there. I'm coming to the part where this could make sense for you.
Yeah.
That's my story of Three Idiots. The greatest of the great, the qualities that hold them, that hold them dear to millions is humility, and nobody personifies this more than Raju Hirani for me. Uh, I've learned that from him. So I'm never too big for my issues. I'm always a student, humble. I don't try to be. Once you've been next to someone like that and you realize, shit, this guy has absolutely no airs about him. There's no way you can go around being pompous.
Mm.
Mr. Amir Khan, tons of stories. I think you will have if questions come up, I'll answer. I can tell you a lot of things about him.
Mm,
Amazing human being, but let's leave that for questions.
yeah.
And this, I mean, when I was assembling these pictures itself, I choked up. I mean, we shot for 6 weeks in Manhattan, and we, she's indescribable. She's indescribable. I can't say anything more about her that you haven't read or know about her, but I'll tell you two small stories that taught me there's no way I don't know what it takes to develop 360-degree spatial awareness. So this person, she can walk into a set, she'll sit down, it's a twin camera set, two cameras are filming you, she sits down and then she stops midway and says that camera is not on. And these are digital cameras,
Mm,
they don't make a lot of sound. At best it's a it's just the slightest buzz, and she didn't hear it, and she figured that camera is not working, and she calls cut to the scene. And it
mm,
turns out the camera person's assistant has not switched on the camera. Small mistake, it happens often. It's not that it won't have been found out. Eventually down the scene it would have been found out about 10, 12, 20 seconds later. It always gets found out. But at the beginning, the sound of that set was different from just 10 minutes ago from the previous shot. And
mm,
we're all like, what the how is this? None of us have heard or felt any difference, and this person comes in and something, talk about antenna. She's connected to the set, like she's drawing energy from everybody. uh, no one is allowed to not shine in the scene. She's careful that she's never overlapping. I've worked with a lot of big actors. Nobody cares about everybody else as much as she does, because
mm,
she understands she's one element of a large scene, and all the elements in that scene have to work for her to do her best.
mm.
uh, and yeah, i I mean, she was again, how I can't call these people friends. There's too much reverence, but we were
Yeah.
close. You see this photograph on the right is the last day of filming. So I went up to her. All the other actors had gone up to her, given her a big hug. We were all catching our flights. She was going to stay back, obviously. I went up to her and we just looked at each other and we couldn't hug. It was just a, it was a, it was, I don't know, it was some sort of respect. It was some sort of
Yeah.
reverence. So, like, we just bowed down. We stood next to each other and took this picture. I've never even shaken hands with her, but
Mm,
we had we had a warmth about us because I could speak Tamil. I would make her laugh throughout the set, throughout the shoot, to the effect that the ADs would come and ask me to shut up because every time I'd make her laugh so much, she tears would go down and spoil her makeup, which leads to a delay of like 15-20 minutes. I brought her onto Twitter. I convinced her that she needs to be in touch with her fans because she kept on talking about how important it was for her to, what will the fans think? I hope they will like this film. I hope they will like me. I realized she's so concerned about what they feel, what her fans think about what she does. She doesn't want their approval, but it's for her, she's responsible to them. They
mm,
come to watch her, they've supported her all these years, so she must put out her best. So I said, ma'am, why don't you talk to them? Why don't you get on Twitter? Why don't you show them, parts of your life they haven't seen? They'd be very happy for it. And I brought her onto Twitter. I was handling her Twitter handle for some time. Then I handed it over to her daughter. But yeah, if anybody's enjoying, in see, I can't speak in past tense. Anybody enjoyed Sri Devi's Twitter handle? I'd take some responsibility for introducing her to the space. Yeah,
oh
so
wow, I didn't know
I again, I don't. I only speak about these in these small forums. It's nothing to
that. Yeah.
really boast, but
Yeah.
it's just about the trust she had in me, and I miss
Yeah.
her. I will forever miss her. She's been my hero. I hated her for what she did to Kamal Hassan in Sadma, uh, but when I met her finally, man, it's indescribable the energy people like her carry.
Yeah.
And the movie from an actor's point of view, I auditioned and I was a little bit wary. Hello, are we doing Mind Your Language? I'm not entirely sure about where this is going. And then I was told it's being shot in New York, and I said, fantastic, I'm going. It's fine. It's a great script. I think it'll win awards, and I must do this film. It's important. It's an important piece of work. But yeah, that was a big lesson for me because Gauri had written this amazing human story. Her characters, Adil's character, Sridevi's character, Sujata ma'am, late Sujata ma'am again. Her
Yeah,
character. I mean, it was a phenomenally written film, and to think that this is Gauri's just her second feature. She'd made a feature, I think, as a student, but it was just stunning to see what was unfolding in front of us on set.
yeah,
So don't
yeah,
don't judge don't judge a script for what it seems like. But having said that, I don't know how I would have gone back and changed my first opinion, because I didn't know Gauri. I just reacted to the script, and I don't know if they said we're shooting in Chennai, if I'd have been so excited. But Sridevi. So yeah, I
yeah,
would have
yeah,
done it. I would have done it anyway. I would have done it anyway. Who am I kidding? Anyway,
yeah. This movie,
so
I mean, just because you're on English, I thought I'll just
yeah,
interrupt and then I'll
yeah,
let you.
yeah, sure, sure.
It was such a surprise package for me also, and I think the way the movie unfolded and the way it reached that pinnacle, that speech that she gave in the end.
Oh my God.
Um, yeah, I mean, I always get goosebumps when I watch that particular piece, and I show it in my classes many times. The humility, and I know I've heard you telling stories about that day because it was freezing cold
Sub
and
Zero. Yeah.
sub-zero. Yeah, so I think a surprise package of a movie, and I think what an amazing performance, because I have seen Sridevi's movies from Himmatwala days,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, I mean, what a
But
journey of an
what
act.
truth she brought to those roles also. She
Yeah,
she she sold you that character, that absurd Thakur's daughter. She would still convince you that
yeah, yeah,
there could be somebody like
absolutely.
that out there. Her broken Hindi. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
amazing. It was amazing. The thing she overcame and still became the superstar. She was
yeah, yeah, yeah,
truly stunning. Uh,
absolutely.
Yeah, that speech you speak of, that is an acting masterclass. She was
Yeah.
freezing, and she converted that shivering into her character's, trepidation and fear.
Mm.
Oh, that was to watch that. We were like, how is she doing this? How is she doing this? Because we've got heat fans under our bums. We've got these, we've got these pads. You squish them and they become warm, and you're putting them in our armpits because
Good Lord.
it was freezing, and she's standing there in this Sabyasachi sari, and I'm like, Sabyasachi, can't you make woolen saris for her sake? I mean, what is this? I mean, and she was, and she built it all into her character, the sniffles and all that. Just
Yeah.
amazing. That's a great example of a person who can construct the emotion in the most convincing way possible.
Mm.
Amazing. Yeah. So wherever she is, I hope she's
Yeah.
she's
So
happy.
we have two, three questions coming, and if you have
Oh,
more,
awesome.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'll go
I
to
have a
them
lot
once
more
you
choice.
finish.
So, yeah. Okay, then I'll zippity doodle through.
Hmm.
I don't know if anyone's seen this movie. If anybody has seen this movie, I suggest you log off right now, because I don't want to know you. I don't want to know that you saw this film. This is a Tamil film I did called Vete, uh, which I did along with English of English. So look at the marvel
You
of makeup. This film was shot here. That film was shot in Manhattan. I had to
so
pay my way to come back and shoot this film. All kinds of rubbish happened on this shoot.
so we can't see your screen. Did you stop sharing?
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. We see both our lovely photos. Ah, okay. We see you now. Okay.
Okay. There now?
Yeah, we got it. We got it. Yes.
I need to see my speaker notes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now we see the
All good?
slide. Yes.
All
Yes.
good?
All good.
Yeah. So beware, this is a slightly contradictory message. Do not sign everything that comes your way. Uh, I mean, I did this film because Madhavan was in it, and I just, I'd done a film with Madhavan. I'd done 3 dates with Madhavan. Tiny,
Hmm.
few interactions with him. But so I did this film. Arya was an up and coming superstar in Tamil film, and Amala, who you see in the background, was another up and coming star. Samira Reddy was also the film. I said, hey, not bad. I don't mind being part of this ensemble. What a bloody mistake. Oh my God. Because I think the director watched an ad where, two of us were playing comedic characters. And I have a feeling he wanted the other guy, but his producer got me. So I land up in his office in Chennai, and there was that moment when the director was staring, this guy, this guy, this guy, and I'd done this clean shave. So he sort of put it down to the shave, which is why he can't recognize me. But I to this day believe it was the other guy he wanted to cast, but I got the part. and then he's expecting me to ham my way through this role. Uh, this movie is on Netflix. It is an A to Z of what how not to act. Please go watch it. My part. I think the others did their best in a pot boiler. I was just this big porky pig hamming his way through this film. Uh, the producers, they I don't know if they're listening, but they jappered me so badly. I styled my own character. They robbed my clothes. Don't sign everything that you do. Just saying, just saying. And I did this film along with English, produced by Balki. English. I land in Manhattan, and I'm looking at the address, Kimberly Suites. They're like, Kimberly Suites. They're going to put a character actor in something called Kimberly Suites, and we're driving, and we're going to the Upper East Side, 60th Street. Now we're getting into really posh neighborhood of Manhattan, and I'm like, something is wrong here, and I'm outside the Kimberly Suites, and I'm, what? How is this possible? And I go inside and I think, my name is Rajiv. You're about the film? Yeah. Room something. I go up the elevator, and it's not a room, it's an apartment. It has a kitchenette. It has a living room. It has this giant bedroom. It has a jacuzzi. And I was like, damn, they gave me the wrong room. So I just went and sat on the sofa. I sat in the living room with my bags, did not unpack for 4 hours. And I'm waiting any moment somebody will come through the door. Sir, Rajiv, sir, sorry, mistake ho gaya. You're with the, you're in the basement next to that black car. We put a tent up for you. That's what you expect. But Balki has given us this room. Balki says, if I put you anywhere else in New York, the taxi, I lose money on, you guys get stuck in traffic. I'll have to pay for taxis for each of you. Then hang it, all of you enjoy yourselves. Yeah, let's all be together and have a good shoot. And you're like, Balki, fine, good idea. Good idea, Balki. And then midway through the shoot, I come for wait. I land in Madurai. I'm in a cab for about 3 hours. I reach a place called Kutralam, the Raj Pilgrim Hotel, and it's 2:30 a.m. I am tired out of my skull because I had to, all kinds of rubbish has happened to get here. I've shown to my room, which is about 15 by 15. No, that's too big. 10 by 5 by 5 square feet. It's got two berths in the wall. This is a pilgrim hotel. Kutralam is, there are these waterfalls that people come to have a bath in. So I go to sleep completely bushed. I don't know. I slept around 2 o'clock, 3:34 sometime in the morning, searing, burning pain on my face. And then I get up, I'm disoriented, and I find the light switch somehow, and I look in the mirror, and there are red ants biting me.
Ooh,
So
ooh,
they've bitten me, and in my sleep, I've knocked them off. So their heads have stayed behind, the big red ants. So
ooh.
the pincers are in my face.
Oh
and,
God.
and I feel like I'm in a horror film. I'm looking in the mirror, it's blurry vision, and there are these things in my face. I scream, I go down, and I need some time to learn my Tamil dialogue. So when I'm angry, some language is coming out, but it's not Tamil because the guy at the counter can't understand what I'm saying. He's sleepy too. These guys have spent $950 a night on this room. And finally, after screaming, the producer comes and picks me up at 6:30 in the morning. I'm sitting in the lobby to directly opposite this place. It's a resort opposite this place where the rooms cost 1,300 rupees a night. This place, this hole in the wall is 950. That's 1,300. Why am I telling you
Good
this?
Lord.
At this point in time, I've done 3 idiots. So you're like, hey, I've done about 6.5, 7, 8, 9 ads. So I've got a face that's been out there. I can show some work. You think that'll count for something? No, it won't. Until you're a superstar, until you've got, especially in this particular industry, certain films in this industry, it is impossible to be taken seriously and treated with any amount of respect. It was a horrible shoot.
Oh.
Thank God, Arya on screen here sort of adopted me. So everybody's Arya's friend. Oh, give him chicken. Take away. You go away. Give him chicken. Give him chicken. Keep that vada. Give him chicken. So I had chicken on set because I'm Arya's friend. Yeah, the stories on this film are endless. So I'll stop here. Uh, Complete contradiction to what I just told you earlier. Don't sign everything that comes your way. I don't know
Yeah, yeah.
what kind of lessons these are.
True.
And here are the strange ways of the industry. I met Madhavan in Three Idiots, where the bum I stamp in the beginning of the film with the rubber stamp.
Yeah,
That's his bum. That's his bum.
yeah.
So that's my claim to fame. I have been where very few people have been before. I have stamped Madhavan's bum because Raju Rani insisted that, all the actors stay on set. And it was weird for me, but like, hey, I'll stamp Madhavan's bump with this chapa top. Nice thing. So I don't think he had fond memories of me. Then I met him on the Vetai set. And finally, Madhavan cast me in his massive magnum opus called Rocketry, the biography of Nambi Narayan, the ISRO scientist who was, implicated in a false case. He's the he's the father of the cryogenic engine. It's the reason why we are able to send satellites into space. Without Nambi, it wouldn't have happened. So that's a beautiful film. It's gotten delayed because of COVID. We're hoping it'll come out next week. But yeah, look for the patterns. I'm thinking, I would have never known Madhavan, whom I met on the Three Idiots set, I would meet again in another film, and then he would direct me in another film. I
Mm,
remember on Vete telling him, it's not going too well, Maddie. After Three Idiots, it's not like I've gotten a lot of work. I'm doing English now. He said, Rajiv, I auditioned for Mani Ratnam 8 years ago. It took him 8 years to cast me Ale Payude. After Ale
oh,
Payude, Madhavan has done so many films, Mani Ratnam. So he's saying, boss, when the dam opens, now, just be ready to handle it.
mm,
Don't ever be upset that the chances are not coming. They'll come. Receive. Just be ready to receive. Actually, Maddie called in 2018 saying, Rajiv, what are you doing with your life? I just came out of a meeting. I don't know, Maddie, advertising? Give me 6 months of your life. I'm like, holy
mm,
crap. No, I can't do that. Why 6 months? Come and make this film with me. He wanted me to be his DA, his director's assistant. I to date don't know whether I did the right thing by saying no, but I was so completely entrenched in the advertising business. I just 15, 20 people, there's clients. There's no way I could have let that go. So he
mm,
gave me a nice part. It's an interesting part. It's a supporting role. It exists just to show that Nambi couldn't have done what he did alone. There's a guy who's always been there beside him. It's a small part. I don't even know if it's not a part of consequence, but the story was so important. I asked my kids, do you know Nambi Narayan is? And they said, who? And that was the motivation for me, that if this film can make kids say the name Nambi, then we'd have done our job. So
nice,
there's sometimes you do a film for, it's not just money, it's not just fame. You do it because the film needs to get made. This is one of those films.
fascinating.
And Maddie is now my guide, my mentor. It's been dark times since the lockdown, and he's always there. I just have to message him, and he'll call, and he'll pep me up, and he's an amazing guy. We disagree on so much, we agree on so much, but he's
Mm,
truly an amazing person.
that's
Another
great.
gift. Yeah. So, I was supposed to play a game with you. What do you spot common on these three pictures? It's Maddie. Okay, then I just self.
And I like your dialogue. "Arey, chikna, chikna, chikna." I mean, that was amazing.
that scene was that scene was improved. It was amazing. There's
Yeah.
so little on the page. We all got together. Everybody was there improving on one day, and the next day we come and the scene's written, and then, we pretty much did it as per what was written. That was a
Yeah.
beautiful experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
This is another beautiful film. As an actor, uh, by now I was glad. I think the I was able to understand the reason for a character existing. This was such a simple, beautiful character written by Anu Menon and Atika Chauhan. He's just a guy who does good because good needs to be done. He's supporting Keklan's character, who has lost, whose husband is in a coma, and she's in an alien city in Kochi, and how's she going to get along? And this is the colleague from the Kochi office, a Mallu boy, who
Mm,
just wants to help her. He's expecting nothing in return. And I thought, you don't. Is he? First I wondered if he's a science fiction character, a guy who's good for no reason. But then it was such a beautiful, honest person, and I was glad it was written so well. I Parts like this, you just need to read the words, and the character just it's there in the words. So that's all
mm,
I did. I just made him Mallu, gave him a tiny bit of an accent, and the pleasure of that venerable gentleman there in the background. Just I had about. I mean, if you take 50 minutes, I had about 15 minutes of work. The remaining 35 was just watching him. I would just
mm,
I wouldn't take a break. I would just be sitting and watching him work. He's an acting school all to himself. I've done some theater workshops with him now and then at Rangashankara. He's
mm,
an amazing person. So so mercurial, so what is this? Such boundless power to perform,
Yeah,
and he stops performing. He just starts being.
yeah,
Irfan Khan had that too.
yeah,
That ability to just be, without trying anything. Just he just is, and then you have to believe him. Otherwise, you feel bad if you don't believe him. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, so this is little snippets from what I've done in Rocketry. I get to play a character from his late 20s all the way up to his 60s. That was a fabulous
Mm,
experience for me. I traveled the world. We've shot in Serbia, we've shot in Georgia, we've shot in France. So yeah, I mean, these are some of the rare, the goodies that come from being an actor. You
mm,
get to see amazing, awesome places. This film has tons of stories, which I think I'll start revealing as we get closer to release date. But
mm.
we've shot in Sub-Zero, we've shot in 40 degrees centigrade. I got to be this cool cat with bell bottoms and flared collars. I got amazing things on this film. So yeah, I just hope this film comes out. The story of Nambi is important for all of us.
Yeah,
So,
indeed.
quiz time. What do these three people have in common?
Kajol, Irfan, and Amitabh Bachchan. They're all actors?
That is a very perceptive answer, but can we go? Can we can we do better than that, Rakesh? Huh,
They are,
that
they share the same birth month and along with you?
No, they've all acted with me in an ad.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah. So I played Kajo's husband in an ad for what? For noodles, I think, for soupy noodles. Kajo husband.
Oh,
I played Ajay Devgan. That's what I tell everybody. Uh, then I met this beautiful human being, Irfan Khan. I did an ad with him and Amitabh Bachchan,
mm,
who will stare at you and you will feel your insides, your bones melting. All idea, your spine starts becoming jelly. Everything they say about him is true. He stands in front of you and he looks at you, and those eyes will just command, and you will do. It's almost like you go into this hallucinatory state, and I'm
wow.
just staring at him. Yeah, the power, because he's physically so big. He's always the tallest guy. On an Indian set, we're all averaging 5'7", 5'8". This man is towering above everybody. And
Mm,
then his energy shot 7 ads in one day, 7, 6, 7 for KBC. So all these small snippet promo ads. I was one of the characters in a promo ad, and I am tired. Shooting is tough. It's hot. Everybody wants you to get your work done quickly, especially on sets where people are shooting for 5, 6 ads. And he has no sign of getting tired. He's like 3 times my age, and he's just standing. No, that's too much. No, he's close to double my. It's too much. But yeah, so I'm just putting this up here because I want to brag because and then
no,
the
I
next
think you
slide.
should.
The next slide shows you even more amazing people who've had the
Wow.
fortune of acting with me. Good for them. They've all improved tremendously in their careers after they've starred with me in either a film or an ad. No, but yeah, but this is it's just some of the beautiful people I've managed to work with. Little stories about all of them. I've told you some of them. I'm coming to something that, well, I don't know. I think all of you would know about this now. It just happened
Yeah.
today. Uh, this is shocking. Uh, I, I just cannot understand what has happened. I can't pretend to know. Uh, I asked around, but then you don't want to know. Also, it's his life. It's his something triggered something off, and I'd like to think that there probably are. Not I'd like to think. I think there are people like him out there. So I had to go out today and just let people know that I put out my email ID on Facebook. I'm here. I can empathize. I can sympathize with the pressures of being an actor. It's an unforgiving profession. There's very few professions as unforgiving about failure as acting. You have to understand that you you could move on. You can forgive yourself. There's always the next chance, but But your peers, the media, tend to latch on to these things because sensationalism is always, it's a bigger story. Sushant Singh Rajput has done amazing films. He's done Chichore. He's done. He was MS Dhoni, for crying out loud. And he played it. I thought his was a very unique take on playing a real life character. He didn't imitate. He had mannerisms, physicalities, but he was still Sushant Singh Rajput playing MS Dhoni, and yet somehow something broke. Some wall broke, and you bought it. You sold it. He sold it to you. That's not easy. I mean, the pressure. Uh, and I thought recently Ranbir Kapoor also did something like that with Sanju, to play a living person. You have to be insane. You have to be supremely confident in your powers. And this man had so much going for him. It's 34 years old. So yeah, this, if you, I don't know, I'm putting this out here just as a message that take it seriously if you want to be an actor, but don't take it seriously. It's just acting. It's a job like any other. You can't let your self worth be dictated by what others think of you. You must have a very clear opinion of who you are, why you're here. Uh, After English, I was getting a ton of these South Indian characters, nutcases, and a lot of them in these multi-starters. They want the buffoon on set. I told Gauri, "Hey, what is this? I'm just getting South Indian characters after English. I'm done for. I'm a Ramamurthy for life." So she said, Raji, how long have you been acting? There are people in the industry who've been around for 15 years and nobody knows they exist. With just one film, if people associate you with a certain kind of character, take it. Just take it. It's fine. What is the typecasting? It's up to you to play each one differently. And let's face it, are you going to speak Punjabi Hindi? Are you going to speak any other kind of Hindi? Your Hindi is always going to be tinged with a certain amount of, Southism, South, whatever the accent. So I said, yeah, I'll embrace that strength. Yeah, and that was those were beautiful words. So I guess I'm not comparing it to what Sushant may or may not have gone through, but the pressure of being a leading man in an industry like this, where there's hundreds of crores riding on you, it couldn't have been easy. But the shocking thing is, he's just 34.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who you go and talk to about this, and who do you ask the question why to, but
Yeah.
too soon, too soon,
Yeah.
and never let it build up to this point. Yeah, that's it. I just want to say, bye to his spirit. I wish him peace wherever he is right now. To his family, to his friends.
Yeah.
This is tough. So yeah, I hope my message goes out to people. I hope just I'm here. Just write to me. I know what it means. I've beat myself up also about not moving to Bombay. I'm afraid of Bombay. Bombay frightens me as a city. If I went to Bombay, I might have been a far more successful, busier actor. Maybe that would have been my main profession. But I'm truly, truly frightened of Mumbai city. So that's the only reason I'm not there.
Yeah.
So I do acting as this. I call it part-time acting, but someone once told me, "What is part? You're an actor. You're not an actor. You're either a busy actor or not a busy actor. There's no such thing as part-time acting." I said, "Yeah, so I'm an actor." But yeah,
No, I
bye, Sushant. I don't know what else to say. It's so sad. No
yeah, no, I
words.
think it's been a crazy afternoon today. I woke up and I read this news, and
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought it up. And I think there are some questions from everyone which I think we will take. But I think may his soul rest in peace. At least
yeah,
he did some movies, especially Chichore, and I laughed.
yeah,
I almost was in tears because it helped me remember my college days and my best friends. And we all decided to come together and watch Chichore together. So we're going to do that in the memory of Sushant again. And I wish he
lovely.
wouldn't have gone. And all of you out there who are listening to this, I echo Rajiv's views. Please pick up the phone, talk to someone. I think it happens to all of us. And after listening to Rajiv's stories of how he got disappointments all the time, disappointments are a part of this brutal career. But I think at the end of the day, this is what the silver screen and the show is all about. And you
Yeah,
have to be there and take help. And Rajiv is there for you. If I can do anything, please do connect with us. On that note, and may his soul rest in peace. And all of you out there, I think take life a little bit lightly. Um, I think there's a lot of sadness, depression. But I also feel that human spirit is always going to stay high. So if you can hold somebody's hand and walk a little bit, these things can be overcome. Um,
Yeah,
so, on that note, few questions for you, Rajiv.
absolutely.
There is
Let
Shikha.
me stop sharing so I can.
Yeah. So there is Avantika. Would you put the question from Shikha Sinha? Should someone wait for the role which can add some value or jump to any first opportunity?
So it depends on. So we're talking first opportunity. I just say jump because
Hmm.
you can't be the judge of where that will lead you to. But at this point in time, there's enough information out there. You can do your research about the director, look at their past work, the writer, the production house. Because look, the effort you put into that film and the effort you put into a Raju Hirani film is the same. You can't
Yeah.
bring a better actor to one set and somebody else to another set. It's still you, right? You're going to put your best out. So, so the effort being the same, uh, try and see if you can channelize it into the right kind of project. And that rightness of the project is determined by several things. What is your mental makeup as an actor? What do you want to do? Are you more comfortable with comedy? Are you a character actor? Do you want to play older roles? Do you want to play, you may or may not have a choice. Uh, but if you're ready and you can find the commonality between everything you do, and for me, it is entertaining. Any character I take, I would like it to leave some sort of impression on the people watching. A great deal of that comes down to the writing, but I've had the fortune. I hate that word. I'm sorry. I keep coming back to this concept of luck and fortune, but again, I did do some homework. It's very lighthearted the way I speak of when I take up projects, but I did do some homework. And then you trust in yourself and you trust in the universe. But to simplify the answer, never say no first. Always say yes. That buys you some time to do some research. You get a little more information. You'll find out about the script. You can ask for a couple of pages. You'll get a vibe for this with your first interaction with somebody on the set, whether it's an assistant director or you'll never meet the director immediately. You'll always go through a couple of levels, and you'll get a good vibe. React to those vibes is what I would say. Most people just get caught up in the wonder of the opportunity and forget to judge a little bit, but react. And if you're getting good vibes and you feel you just go for it, yeah. And so what? It may not work out. Yeah, the next one will come by, but by now you're an actor. You're not trying anymore. So yeah, you're an actor. Then that's important. If anything, that first project will give you the cred to call yourself an actor. So yeah, I have to practice giving shorter answers. But yeah. Kanan Kapoor, how can we start with our acting career? Good question, Kanan. So look, so there are many acting schools. If you go Google search, you'll find them. Which is the better one? I don't want to suggest anything to you because each one has their strengths and weaknesses. There are some schools set up to supply actors to the TV industry. There are schools that focus on acting for the stage. Yeah, there are revered courses from the FTII, the National School of Drama. Uh, I think you should give yourself a moment to understand that acting if acting is sort of an energy source, there are many outlets for it. So, what makes you happy? Start small, do a theater workshop, uh, even intern with a theater company. Don't have to go on stage. You can learn tons from standing in the wings and watching actors work. You'll be able to very quickly decide for yourself if this is meant for you, this is for you. The simplest way is to do a workshop because you will workshop scenes. You will feel an innateness, an innate readiness for this kind of creation. It's a process of creation. And look, the truth is, without sounding a bit pompous, there's no way to say it, but you have to have a knack for it. I can't describe it in any other way. Uh, I could not have acquired any of these skills purely from an acting school. I needed to have something that needed to be honed, needed to be shaped, needed to be made better. But you need to have that core. That core can be hidden if you've never had acting experience, if no one in your family has acted. So you've got to discover that for yourself. So I would say theater workshops are the simpler way out. It lets you experiment. It lets you sort of test the waters, and that's important before you make the big call. uh, get on Facebook, Bangalore actors. You just, with that search string alone, you'll find like 10 or 12 Facebook pages, and all that happens on those pages is acting notices. We're looking for somebody of this profile, 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 25. He speaks this language. He looks like this, looks like that. Just respond. Start responding. Start responding. Uh, if you already got the crazy urge, heck, get on YouTube. Start your own channel. Make short snippets of comedy. There is that great productivity destroyer called TikTok. You can go there and never come back. It's possible. So just have somebody at home, with a timer to come and hit you on the head 10 minutes later, because there's no way you can get on TikTok and leave in 10 minutes. But there's enough and more stories of people who've used the platform, not been on the platform for the sake of it, but used the platform to show off their talents. And there's so much work out there, so much work. There is OTT, there's Netflix and Amazon jumping over each other to create new content. And for the first time, possibly, there are not enough actors, because I've always said, my God, it's so difficult to get. There's an ocean of amazing talent in Bombay, and I'm this bugger in Bangalore trying my luck out here. I, I, what you don't know is, for every ad I've done, there are 100. I'm not exaggerating. There are 100 auditions I've not maxed, but I do 100 to get the 101st job. So
Wow.
temerity and stubbornness is required. You can't say, damn, I'm on from 3 weeks, I'm not getting any work, because you can't work for 3 weeks nonstop if you're like me. I'm looking for that one wonderful piece of work, and it comes by, and then the 3 weeks you don't even remember it happened. So just be stubborn. What was your question? How can you start? So start small, test yourself. You have to first discover whether you can do this or not, Kanan. So give yourself the time. Don't make big steps. I've known people who pack up bag and baggage and head to Bombay. Look, if that's your thing, great. But my God, it's like jumping into this massive ocean. You lose yourself. You lose yourself. There are several acting school, Barry John Acting School. There is Anupam Kher acts, an actor prepares. I think Anupam Kher's school is called. There's Whistling Wood set up by Subhash Ghai. There are these names that will pop up, but they're all feeder schools. Understand, they're feeder schools, which means they're preparing people who already have a little bit of talent. They hone that skill, so you're ready to be cast somewhere. That doesn't guarantee your career. You still have
Yeah.
to get out from that school. You'll be armed with a little more tools than the guy who's just walking into an audition. You'll know a little more. You can control your skill a little more and probably do better in the audition. So understand, that's the nature of the acting schools that are in Bombay. They don't
Yeah.
guarantee careers. So you can't. It's not like a degree. It's not like an MBA. You can't. There's no campus recruitment.
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed, at least. It's a matter of timing. Who knows? When you're graduating, I don't know. Maybe Subhash Ghai himself is launching a magnum opus and needs an army of 50 soldiers, and you happen to be one of the graduating students, and you'll get it's happenstance, but
Yeah.
not. It doesn't work like a formal education system.
Yeah, I think this is a tougher nut to crack. And there is a movie, I don't know if you've seen it, and we'll take the next question. And then I just wanted to say this movie. There's a movie very heartbreaking called Inside Llewyn Davis, which is about,
Coen
uh,
Brothers film.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And this guy, um, Oscar, I forget his name.
Oscar
I
Isaac. Yeah,
Oscar Isaac, he's playing that role. So it talks about 3 days in his life. He's a
yeah,
singer and a gig player, and it
yeah,
is gut wrenching. 3 days of his life in that cold Chicago, New York gigs, and for like three
right.
dollars,
Yeah.
and unbelievable. But I think one thing, and I think that's the next question which you should take. That this is a very it's a career which requires tremendous amount of resilience. And
Mm.
how do you keep going? That's what Prajakta wants to ask you. Sometimes it's disheartening. So how do you keep yourself in the game? And is connection really important to keep you in the market?
Look, if you have the connection, so be it. But every Godfather has only that much room for people to be connected with. And if his diary of people he wants to push is full, you can't even get into it. So connections, if you have it, by all means use it. There's not a thing to be ashamed about, because it's not that because you have connections, you'll get a bad actor will get cast. It doesn't work like that, so you still have to have talent, you still have to have the chops. Directors are a lot more aware now, because there's so much exposure to world cinema, there's so much exposure to different kinds of films across the country. It's not the film industries are not as heterogeneous as they used to be. There's a lot of mixing and matching of talent. People are watching movies from other languages, so there's people are a lot more aware. They're not going to just because you're connected to somebody doesn't guarantee anything. But you have the connection, by all means, go for it. Now, what keeps you going is, I mean, I don't know if in my case is the possibility of another English. It's the possibility of another Three Idiots, and I really value the opportunity to be in this position of entertaining. Uh, does it work out all the time? No, it doesn't. But uh, it's not the last time. Every opportunity is just one in the way of the next one. You have to get past one to get to that. And sometimes you have to have a bad one. You have to have, you have to sink. You have to do something that took up a lot of your time and didn't work out. I've done plays that I put my heart and soul into, and we do one show, and the show bombs, and that's the end of it. You've spent 4 or 5 months of your life because you believed in something, and it didn't work out. And I'm just a little wiser. I know what to look out for the next time. I probably won't do a play that has only one show, a run of one show. So what keeps you going is, to a certain extent, it determines it's determined by the individual. But my personal motivation is the ability to create one of these wonderful stories I've been a part of, to do it again. And what is the cap on that? I can do that for the rest of my life. It's such an amazing experience to be on a set and to create a story, tell a story with creating with other people. There's an energy that gets created once you plug into this atmosphere. You can't recreate anywhere else, because everybody has the same motivation. Everyone's here to convert words into a living, breathing universe. They're doing it together. We're all sharing, we're sharing the stress, we're sharing the joy. It's absolutely magical. It's extreme hard work, but it's magical, and you want to go back and keep doing it. As a profession, like I said, it's tough being in Bangalore. The pay is way lower here than in Bombay. Right across, even in advertising. If I had an advertising agency in Bombay, I'd be a lot more well off. But I'm in Bangalore. I've chosen to be here, so it comes with its trappings. It comes with its shortcomings. Uh, am I answering your question?
Yeah, I think you did. So
Yeah,
can
you just have to plow through. Keep at it, because what is the corollary to that? Not trying and doing nothing. And if all you want to be is an actor, doing nothing leads to dark spaces in your mind. And why would you do that? Because this is a process of creation, and there is no on-off switch. You're the controller, right? You just need to find. It's like you're a plug, and you need to find the right socket, and you just keep looking, and you'll find something to plug into. And like I said, if a TV show didn't work out, dump it, go back to theater. Nothing like more stimulating than the theater to wake up your mind again. Come back, audition left, right, center. I'm not kidding. 100 auditions to get a part, not the same part. I'm saying 100 failed auditions, and the 101st lands you a job that will, I don't know, take you to London. I don't know. I mean, in a beautiful dairy milk ad that will become part of folklore in 2035, and people will say, "What a beautiful ad!" How about that's the possibility, right? That's the
Yeah.
possibility. Just be true to your craft. I mean, just be true to why you're doing it. If you're doing it for the money, that's also a kind of integrity. There are lots of actors I know who are fabulously talented, fabulously, but they've chosen to do TV because their priority in their life at this point in time is to earn a steady paycheck. And being part of a TV serial, a syndicated TV serial, means there's a paycheck coming every week, and they've designed their lives around it. Could be an EMI, could be a house for the parents, could be something. So their motivations are different. There's some guys who don't need the money. I earn my bread and butter from advertising, and I call acting the occasional jam. So I've designed my life that way. It leads to moments when I'm like, man, I just wish I could have done that role. I could have done that part, but I'm not in the city where those opportunities exist, right? I'm here and I'm doing this remote control to a certain extent. But
Mm,
yeah, I have those moments. I'm not the happiest person that that I don't act all the time, but I made some choices. I have to remind myself of those choices. Did I answer your
fascinating.
question?
Yeah, yeah. I think quite details. We'll take one or two last questions at 6:20.
Sure.
You have given us amazing time. Ruben's question: if you could go back 15 years ago, what advice would you give young Rajiv?
I would say, young Rajiv, you idiot, you can't do everything. You're not Superman. Please be a little humble and go into acting, go into a theater workshop and learn the craft before you practice the craft. Uh, just because you're comfortable on stage, it doesn't mean you're a good actor. You're just loud. You're eating up your co-actors' lines because you're louder than them and you're bigger than them. So shut the f up. Be humble. 15 years, no? Yeah, 15 years. 15 years. 15 years ago, I told Rajiv to be humble and just remind him
Good,
that he's not Superman.
fascinating. Okay, next question is from Sam Matthew. How do you keep connected with different people in the industry for any upcoming projects? Helpful for people who are looking for job or work.
I'll go back to that magic word, audition. Because here's
Mm,
what happens when you audition. You get on a casting agent's call sheet. So
mm,
you're now forever on his call sheet. When he gets a job, his job is to cast the character as fast as possible. So he's got the casting agent, the casting industry in Bombay is set.
yeah.
They're really organized. So that's it. After having auditioned like every month 10 or 12 times, I'm now in about 15 to 20 casting agents' diaries. So invariably there are calls coming, and that's all I did. I didn't do anything else. I may not have got the part not because I was not good, but because somebody else was better, or maybe somebody else looked better. But then what I've done is I've managed to keep, I managed to make an impression on a casting, and he's like, "Huh, that guy's there." Do I
Mm,
keep in touch? Look, you got to think about this. Yeah, I mean, imagine you're a director, and you made a successful film. No matter how nice you are, if people keep reminding you, "Sir, I'm there, sir. Can I get a part in your film, sir? Can I come, sir? If you don't mind, sir." If you keep doing that, you're going to come across as this ingratiating character. I want to know, and directors, producers these days don't get involved in the casting process. The writer's got a script. The script is converted into a casting brief. The brief goes to casting agents. They're the guys who cast. Now, if you're going to appease somebody, maybe you can appease them, but you don't have to do that. You just audition. Yeah, just get onto Facebook, look for acting bulletin boards. You will find tons of casting calls. Just start responding to them. That's it. And if, like I said, if you've got that spark, even you can't hide it. So one small tip, pro tip: I use iMovies to record my auditions, and I entertain the crap out of people when I do auditions. Sometimes I realize I won't get the part, but I use iMovies green screen and I do both parts. I'll do the husband and the wife. So the guy, so I have casting guys calling back, laughing their heads off, saying, "Sir, I don't think this part is for you, but what an audition! So funny." And eventually the call will come back. So
yeah.
do awesome auditions. Do awesome auditions. Like, just give it all you've got in that audition. Act your heart out. You want to add background music? I have added background music in some audition. Just go crazy. If you see there's some props involved, don't expect to come on screen in a dirty T-shirt playing the role of like an MBA father or something, and expect to get the part because your face is awesome. Doesn't happen.
Mm,
Create
mm,
the whole scene. Shoot it in your dining table. If it's something to do with coffee, make the damn coffee in the kitchen. Put your heart and soul. Let people see how hungry you are to do the part, and create the reality, because in the end you're creating reality, right? You Suddenly your audition will stick its head up among the hundreds around you. So just auditions, man. I'm telling you, it's the best way, because you suddenly build connections that you just have don't know happen. And some guys take share numbers. So one guy thinks you're good, he'll share it with his friend. Every casting guy has at least two friends. So if you do touch with 10 casting people, that's 20. So on and so forth. And
come on.
yeah, just keep at it. Keep at it.
So there is a question from Shashwat Sagar Singh on how can we start the career in dubbing and voiceover. He's written four more questions, but we have covered most of them.
Okay.
So dubbing and voiceover, how do you start your career with that?
Um, how do you start? Um, See, a lot of my opportunities came because of this twin career I have in advertising. So,
Hmm.
in advertising, you tend to do a lot of this work. You record radio spots. You're in environments where dubbing is happening, so you can throw your hat in the ring. How would you do it from scratch? I would again say search for radio producers. I have some
Okay.
numbers. Record yourself and create a YouTube channel. If dubbing is your is what gives you your jollies, download videos, mute out the audio, and dub for the character. It's just so simple. Just create a reel of dubbed of your dubbing on an existing scene,
Mm.
because it's about timing, it's about emotion, it's about suiting the character. I mean, I can't with this weird pre-adolescent voice. I can't voice an Amitabh Bachchan scene. It won't work. So yeah, again, what am I asking you to do? It's again a kind of audition only. You can't rely on talent to find you stuff. You've got to put your talent out there. And the awesome thing is, look, when I started off as an actor, it was the phone, it was having to be in the right place at the right time. You've got YouTube, you've got TikTok, you've got Facebook. You've got so many tools to broadcast yourself.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
You're on the golden era of broadcasting your talent. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
just use it. Waiting for an opportunity to land, it'll come at some point. But you don't want to make your
yeah.
debut at 65. So just saying, go out there now.
Okay. Last question of the day from Vishal Pathak. Is it advisable to do theater for a start while doing your regular job?
That is all I did. Uh, I did theater while doing my regular job, and it was hard work, friend. I My day starts at 6. We rehearse for 3 hours till 9. I have to clock into Hong Kong Bank. I told you my first job at 9:30, and then I'm done at the bank at 7. I'm rehearsing from 7:30 to 10:30. Back home, late dinner, start all over again. That's the only way I could do theater, and I sacrificed a lot of social life. I didn't do pubs. I didn't do that for some time because the theater was way more important to me.
Mm,
And yeah, that's my answer to you. It's not advisable. It's the only way.
mm,
That's the most prudent way to construct a career in acting. Keep the safety of. And I'm sounding like your dad. I'm sorry, but it works. You can earn a salary from a safe job, and you can pursue your interest in acting. And there will come a tipping point, friend. There will come a tipping point when you realize, gosh, I'm good at this. I can do more with this, and you will say bye to whatever else you're doing, and you will embrace that acting career. It'll happen. But to answer your question, absolutely, it is totally completely advisable.
very cool. So I think we have few questions coming, but it's 6:30. We have already taken 90 minutes of your time, and I think the other questions we have kind of covered very well. I wanted to thank you, Rajiv. I think this has been it's always a joy listening to you. And whenever I listen to the same story, I learn five new things. I think that's what I take away from your talks. I think the importance of grit, resilience, keep trying, and things will happen. And I think after today, I think one of the things you said very well is to this industry is going to create a lot of sadness and can lead to depression. And what happened with Sushant today, I pray and hope that all of us don't go down that path. But if any of you who are sad, depressed, pick up the phone, call someone. And Rajiv has put his email ID on his Facebook page. My email is on our website. Please write to us. I think we will do. I think after today, we've been toying with this webinar concept of mental wellness, but I think we'll pick it up and we'll call somebody interesting to talk about that. But thanks again, Rajiv. You've been a great
No, no,
support for School of Meaningful Experiences.
thank you, Rakesh.
And to all our
That's
listeners out
another
there,
that's another tip. Just never shy away from opportunities to talk to people. Just answering some of your questions just helps you, you clarify things in your own head. But thank you so much for having me on. This was really, really amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. And to all our listeners out there, thank you. And the recording will be available on our website. Please do check out our blog section where we'll summarize this. What we'll also do from Rajiv is pick up few tips on acting schools and some career options, put it in the blog so that all of you can access them. But do take this seriously. I think there is no better way to entertain or take someone's life and give it in front of someone else. And it's such an amazing opportunity to do that. So thanks a lot, Rajiv, and all of
Thank
you.
you.
Good night and stay safe, stay indoors, take care of yourself.
Thank you all. Stay safe. Thank you all.
Bye bye.
Bye. See you.